Alright, hi everyone, my name is V. This here, sorry, this here is my 4-month-old male Dogo Argentino Mastiff. His name is Kratos. Disclaimer, sorry about the yard. I just got off work, I haven't had a chance to clean up yet. Alright, and he's gone. Sorry, the video is supposed to be portraying to him. And also sorry if I start talking way too fast. But anyway, so let me get to the point of this video. So I wanted to do a quick video on the one thing I was not expecting with Kratos. So I had called myself doing a lot of research. I've wanted a Dogo Argentino Mastiff ever since I was in middle school. So that was a couple years ago, quite a few years ago. So Kratos is my first one, and so I had done research from that time on, right? As much research as I could do on the dog. And the one thing I always heard is like, oh yeah, this dog is a Velcro dog. This dog wants to be by your side all the time. This dog needs to be by your side all the time. And I'm thinking like, okay, well, maybe I can use that in training. Maybe I can use their need to be with me in order to kind of train a dog to, just to behave, right? Because in order to do a lot of stuff for me inside the house, in order to have a lot of freedom, I need you to behave, right? But I grossly misunderstood what that meant. So let's get to the first, month and a half I had Kratos. So the first couple days, right? Kratos cried all the time, all night long, all the time. If he could not get to me, he was crying. It didn't matter if he could see me. If he could not physically access me, whether he was in a crate, whether he was behind a gate, if he could not get to me, he would cry. And sorry, when I first got him, he didn't, of course, as a puppy, he didn't have that much access to most things because he was potty trained. So I was also trying to work on crate training. But anyway, so the point is if he was behind any type of barrier and he couldn't get to me, regardless if he could see me, he would throw a fit. It would be crying. He also, when he was younger, he would just chew on everything, not sniffing to see what he was biting. He would chew on whatever he could get his mouth on. He would start chewing, whether that be the floor, the wall, furniture next to him. He would just, out of frustration. So that was like the first couple days he was here. Like I said, he cried so much. Like the first 3 or 4 days he was here, he cried so much. All through the night he would cry, to the point where the second day he was here, he actually completely lost his voice just by crying at night, just by crying all through the night. So then on top of that, which kind of ties a bit into his potty training, so Kratos comes from a kennel that had their dogs outside. So like their kennels were outside, so he was basically an outside dog. So where, even though he had a separate space to sleep, where he would step in was covered in his own feces, his mother's feces, so that scent was just everywhere. So he was used to kind of living in those conditions. So potty training was also a big issue. But it was very hard for me to tell when he was in a crate if he needs to use the if he was crying because he needed to use the bathroom, or if he was crying because he just wanted to be let out, because he was crying all the time. And I guess also, just as a side note, because I don't really want to get into his potty training too much right now, because that's not the point of this video. He was so bad with potty training that I would take him out to go pee. Then I would have a meeting, like 45-minute meeting, not a long meeting. And he's so cute. Look at that face. You're so cute. You're dirty though, but you're real cute. You're real cute. Please don't unplug my phone because it will die. Anyway, I would take him out, and like I would have a 45-minute meeting, right? So my meetings, not technically long. And when I got him, he was a week shy from 2 months old when I brought him home. So he should be able to hold his pee for like 45 minutes. But because of he has outdoor bringing, regardless if he peed beforehand, any he would have accidents, whether it be like, even if I took him out like 45 minutes before, an hour before, he would have accidents in his crate. And his crate was never bigger than enough for him to like kind of lay down in. So I did want him to kind of work on potty training, but since he came from an outdoor kennel and he was used to kind of living in his own mess, that just made it harder. But anyway, the point is, he would just cry and cry all the time. And it got to the point where so I'm Kratos' primary, only caretaker, so there's a lot of times when I can't watch him You know, whether it's me using the bathroom, taking a shower, washing dishes, doing laundry. There's just times I can't watch him, and as a puppy, you need to give puppies your full attention. So when I could not watch him, he had to go in his crate. And particularly when I was in meetings, and I've never had a meeting with him longer than 2.5 hours. You know, I had put him in his crate for the duration of that meeting, and he would just cry and cry and cry. Like if he could hear me, I mean, it definitely got better over time. Like he's basically like, he's 4 months old. He's basically done with that phase now. Don't look at me like that, boy. But you know, at the time, you know, he just did so much crying, and honestly, I thought that, and I thought that I could use the fact that he wanted to be with me to train, but his desire to be with me was just so overwhelming that he couldn't think about anything else. It made crate training a nightmare. I mean, he's crate trained now, perfectly crate trained now, but it took so much longer. So I currently also have a 6-month-old pit bull puppy. By the time I got Kratos, she was 4 months old. And training her, and I also got her around the same time I got Kratos, so she was a week shy of 2 months when I first brought her into the house. And she had a bit of an issue with like separation anxiety as well. Nowhere near as bad as Kratos, nowhere near. But like I said, it made crate training hard because I tried to, because the thing with crates, you can't really just put a dog in a crate and expect them to do fine. You need to kind of acclimate them to the crate. And what they tell you to do, which worked perfectly with Jack and I have another dog, a Chihuahua named Paco, is I would just give them everything that they could want. I gave them in their crate. Everything, food, toys, you know, treats, high value treats, everything they could possibly want, I gave them in their crate. Sorry, I was listening to see what the hell is my other dog whining. And also what kind of helped with Jack is that if I covered the crate, so if she could not see, she would get quiet. None of that worked on Kratos. Kratos did not care about food. He did not care about treats. He did not care if he couldn't see anything. He would throw a fit. He would howling, crying. He was a mess. And that lasted for like a month and a half. Like I said, he's completely better now. He will rarely cry now unless he needs to use the bathroom. I mean, sometimes he'll cry. He's like, okay, I just want to be let out. That's mostly because he has a lot of he has a lot of freedom now because he is, you know, better trained. He's gotten used to kind of things, the way that we do things around here. And so he's, like I said, oh gosh, sorry. I am horrible at speaking. And now he's rarely in the kennel unless he's sleeping, or now because I have Jack and Heat and she needs to go outside separate from her. If I'm outside with Jack now, then he'll go in a crate until I can kind of get her situated, since they can't go outside at the same time and I'm managing them on my own. But outside of that, and the odd meeting I have at work, because I work from home currently anyway, you know, he's out, so you know, he might do a little bit more crying now, because he's not, you know, he knows he can be out, but you know, he can't. But anyway, but I just want to talk about that because it's very different than what I thought. You know, Velcro dog, I thought that, oh, they wanted to be next to me all the time, and you know, I could use that for training. But like I said, he's just so focused on getting to me. He's not trying to see he's not trying to, you know, be involved with anything else. If he's in a crate, he, like at the time, he just did not care. He didn't care, like even like bacon grease. So my Kratos, he has a thing for cheese and bacon grease, his favorite things. So I had put like a frozen Kong with when I first, sorry, you're all behind a tree, my guy. What are you doing? So I had got like a little toy, not necessarily that, but I have a Kong that I was using for him when he was a puppy, because you know, puppy teeth. And so I'd filled that with like mostly kibble and like the cheese that they have for the Kong, like specifically for the Kongs. And I also did a little bit of bacon grease. And he loves that outside the crate. He would devour it. Inside the crate, he didn't care. Did not care. It didn't matter if I was sitting there watching him sing in front of the crate. If he was in the crate, he did not care about anything. And even, like I said, at night, I started him off with, like, you know, shutting everything down where he couldn't see. There's no lights going on. There's no movement going on at night. But it didn't matter that he couldn't see anything, that he couldn't see me at all. It didn't matter if he couldn't hear anything at all. Like, he was in a crate, he just freaked out. He wasn't near me, he just freaked out. So I don't know. Oh, cutie, hi. That's very rude that you stepped on my feet. You're very cute though. Also, I guess you can probably see, hold on, I might need to unplug this. Ugh, hopefully my phone doesn't die. You can see this is my screen door. It's not my screen door at all. You guys can see my screen door. This is the screen to my window. And so towards as Kratos got bigger, I allowed him to be out with Jack. Jack is my female pit bull puppy. She's, like I said, she's 6 months old now. Um, but before she was in heat, and once he was big enough to kind of handle her energy, because Jack, as sweet as she is, she has a lot of energy that she kind of uses destructively, which we won't get into that. But as soon as he was big enough to, be out here with her, I would allow them to come outside and use the bathroom by themselves. Because, like I said, I have a million one things I have to do, as I basically manage this house by myself. So, there's just sometimes when they're out here, I can't actually physically be out there watching. However, I do have a camera here, so I can watch them at the door, and I have another camera that kind of faces the backyard, so I can watch them from inside the house. But there's just times I can't be out here with them all the time. Also, they aren't allowed to play inside my house, so I do allow them time in the backyard in order to play. Anyway, the point is that when I first started allowing them to do that, um, that's not really when I first started to allow them to do that, because when I first started to allow them to do that, I had to watch, because I said Jack is a bit rough, and now she's not aggressive at all. She likes to tackle. She's only slightly bigger than Kratos now, but before, when he was littler, like, she just really did not care the fact that she was bigger. She likes to tackle and run people over and stuff, which is really dangerous for a puppy. So I had to be out here. But when it got to the point where Kratos could hold his own, Jack calmed down, and I could leave them out here without worrying about somebody getting hurt when they're playing, I would go inside and leave them out here to use the bathroom and play while I watched from inside the house. Anyway, but the point is that once Kratos realized that, okay, I'm tired of playing, oh my gosh, where is the lady who takes care of me, he would try to claw up the windows. He'll try to get in through the windows. Not sure how he knows that he can possibly get in through there, but he would also jump on the door too, which is why it's kind of so dirty. And that's just also a thing. He also, you guys can probably see this brick right here. You real cute boy. He's still cute. He's also really dirty, so apologies for that. Anyway, so there's a brick right there, but there's also on the other side of the house, there's two areas, one by the fence and one by the house, where you try to dig out and or inside the house. So I had to put, I had little bricks around that around the yard that I just put in those areas, and that lasted for about 2 weeks. So I mean, not too bad, not as bad as me trying to get him to be crate trained and not to cry, and make sure, like I said, when he is in the crate, the one thing that could get him out was quiet. I really wanted to stress the point that crying is not going to get me to come to you, which it also kind of made it harder for potty draining and stuff, on top of the fact that, like I said, he was used to being an outside dog where he'd potty where he sleep, so it made it a bit harder, and I'm not sure if I would do anything different. But one of the issues for me, one of the biggest things for me is I don't want a dog that cries. I don't want a dog that makes a lot of noise. That's kind of the one of the things that really agitates me. And so one of the things that I wanted to stress, the strongest between Kratos, was okay, crying does not bring me to you, right? If you are crying, you are not going to get any response from me, which was hard. Like I said, it's hard for potty training, but he eventually picked up on it. And then also he eventually picked up on the fact that he didn't have to smell like pee. He could be clean so long as he kept himself clean. But basically, even with the whole me saying that, okay, I was teaching him that crying does not make me approach you. Even with that, I had to be careful because of potty training. I just had to make sure I take him out frequently. But regardless, that's not the point. I just wanted to reiterate to you guys that when people say that these dogs are Velcro dogs, it is serious. And I mean, honestly, it took me a month and a half to get him to where he is now. Like I said, he's 4 months old. I got him when he was about a month shy of 2 months, a week shy of 2 months, sorry. And so, I haven't had him a long time yet, and he's absolutely perfect right now. Honestly, he's more perfect when he's not with Jack, my female, creating havoc, because they like to create havoc. But there's somebody across the yard. Enough. Kratos, come here. Oh boy. Oh yeah, boy. I was thinking about taking him out today because he needs to be socialized, but I probably won't do that today, simply because I have other things I need to do in the house. But that's not the point of this video. But anyway, I just wanted to reiterate that when they say that these dogs are Velcro dogs, yeah, that's not good behavior. We're gonna fix that. But anyway, I just wanted to read it when they said that they're Velcro dogs. It's entirely different meaning than just like a dog that wants to follow you around all the time. And so, like I said, he's better now. I can leave the house. He's fine. You know, I can go to sleep. He's fine. Actually, today I think it's gonna be first day he actually sleeps inside. I mean, he won't be free, but usually the dogs sleep in this playroom right here. It's insulated. It's a bit cooler just because it has all the windows. And it's early spring, but generally speaking, it's insulated. It's fine. But I have a crate inside the house that's much larger. It's a crate that the that him and Jack usually sleep in when they're inside the house, is where they chill out at. But I was gonna, but usually up until today, he's been in his bedtime crate, his crate that's only big enough for him to sleep in. But I'm gonna try today to allow him to sleep in there. So and the reason I'm doing it right now is because Jack is in her crate in the playroom because she is on her she is in heat, and so I want just to kind of cut down the mess. I'm just putting her out here because, you know, she can't make a mess on my carpets or whatever if she's in the playroom with the playroom's tile. Anyway, point is that you know, he's grown up. You know, it took a while, but you know, he's basically comfortable with all the house rules. So I mean, he's still a little stubborn, but that's just a Dogo Argentino Mastiff, and he's a male. So, but yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to make this video long. I'm sorry if I talk too fast. First of all, I'm sorry if I went on too many tangents, but I did want to kind of reiterate the fact that you know, these dogs want to be next to you, and as a puppy, it's just gonna be hard as a puppy to train them to kind of be okay being by themselves. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye. Hey Toast, come here, look at me. Oh boy, cutie.